Hello, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our weekly wellness sessions. Today, we're going to talk about feelings. How can we use them to our advantage? But before we get started, we're going to give people a minute or two to come in. And let's just do a little warm up by stirring the chi. Hi, good morning. Welcome. So, we're just going to stir the chi a little bit. Chi is life force energy. It runs through us, it is in everything all around us, and stirring the chi is a great way to connect to it. And so to do it, you just do what I'm doing with my hands, just sort of lightly kind of run them in and out. I do sort of almost a figure 8 pattern, almost like you're running them through water. And allow yourself to feel any sensation in your hands or your fingers. You might feel a little bit of resistance, as if they're flowing through something thicker than air. And we stir it and activate it. Good morning. Good. Good. And then let's go ahead and get the chi moving. All right, we're going to bounce a little bit. So with your legs slightly wider than shoulder width distance apart, you're going to come up onto your tiptoes and then down onto your heels. And you just let your arms be limp, okay? Good morning. If you're just joining us, we're just getting warmed up. You're just bouncing. There's a couple ways that we bounce. This way we're coming up off the heels and then down onto them. That jolt that goes through your body when you come down onto your heels really helps to stimulate lymphatic drainage and circulation throughout the body. So you get a little bit of an added bonus there. Good. And I think I came down so far that I jolted my phone sideways a little bit. Let me adjust it. Good. Awesome. Okay. So as promised, today we're going to talk about feelings, right? We all have them. I think we can all identify with the fact that sometimes they get in our way more than they help us. So like, what's up with feelings, right? There's so many things that we could talk about. We are not today going to talk about why we have feelings from an evolutionary perspective. We're going to be more talking about where feelings come from and how to get the information that they're really trying to tell you so that you can make use out of the feelings rather than being a victim of the feelings. So to understand that, you need to know a little bit about neuroscience. And don't worry, I'm going to break it down and make it really, really simple. This talk's going to last maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and then we're going to do a little qigong to close out the session, okay? So your brain has 3 parts: a brainstem, a middle brain called the limbic system, and a higher brain called the neocortex. And the way that they relate to each other is the brainstem deals with all the physical functions of your body that you don't have to consciously pay attention to, right? How fast your heart's going, how fast you're breathing, where the blood is pumping, the functions of all your internal organs. It has to do with your physical state. So brainstem, physical. The middle brain or limbic system is what produces our emotions. So middle brain, emotions. And then the higher brain, the neocortex, is what creates conscious thought. Okay, so neocortex, thoughts. Physical, emotional, cerebral thoughts, right? And the way that they interact with each other is you will either experience a physical state, which will then send information to the middle brain, which will produce a feeling to interpret the physical state. And then they'll send that information on to the neocortex that'll produce a corresponding conscious thought to try to explain the physical state and the emotion that comes with it. The other way it can go is that you can have a thought, and that sends information to the middle brain that creates an emotion to go with your thought, and then that sends information to the physical brain that creates a physical state that corresponds to the thought and the emotion. So what can we tell from this, right? Well, we can tell that feelings don't just come out of nowhere. Feelings are always reactionary. They're always either responding to the state of your physical being or the state of your thoughts. The other thing that we can see with this is that you have the ability or the opportunity to change your feelings by changing your physical state and changing your thought. But the thing I want to talk about today is, I think most of us fall into this trap of we equate the way we feel with the way reality is. Somebody says something to me that I don't like. My gut reaction is, they're not being nice to me. They're a bad person. They're being snotty. They're being prissy, whatever. That may or may not be true. I have created a reality based on my emotional reaction. The truth is that our emotions are not explaining the world around us. Our emotions are giving us information about what's going on inside of us. Somebody said something to me that I don't like, and I have an emotion of anger or fear or anxiety, right? That's telling me something about what's going on inside of me. Either what they said made me feel threatened because I'm not prepared enough, or because I have an issue with self-esteem in some area of my life, or because in the past I've experienced people not taking me seriously, and so I interpret what they're saying as them not taking me seriously too. And we have a golden opportunity when we realize this to see where the chinks in our armor are. And I don't mean armor like a hard and flexible shell that you use to keep the world away. I mean, what makes you up, right? What makes you strong? What makes you balanced? What makes you well-rounded? What makes you well? We get to see where the chinks are, so we have an opportunity to fill them in. I'm insecure in this area. That's what created this emotion. What can I do to get more secure? Do I need to do positive self-talk? Do I need to build skill in that area? Do I need to talk to a counselor, right? Do I need to talk to a friend? So that is the real key with emotions, is to realize that they're not telling us anything about the world going on around us, at least not in today's society, where our lives are typically not being threatened on a day-to-day basis. Our emotions are telling us what's going on internally. So if you feel an emotion that you don't like, or if you feel an emotion that you really like, take the opportunity to look inward. What is this telling me about my internal state right now? What is this telling me about what I need? What is this telling me about what I might want to reproduce in the future so that I can achieve this positive emotion? And the more you practice that, the stronger, the more flexible, the more balanced, the less reactive, and the more skillful you're going to become. So that is, for me, I think one of the most useful things to understand about feelings. And again, we could talk about different aspects all day long, but that was the key take home that I wanted you to get from today. You feel a feeling you don't like, don't look outward to explain the feeling, look inward. And I want to challenge you all to practice this throughout this next week. Whenever you feel a particularly strong emotion, take the opportunity to take a deep breath, turn inward, try to figure out where it's coming from, and then try to create and execute at least one action step to balance that out. Okay? Awesome. So what are some things that we can do to change the feelings that we don't want to be having when we're having them, other than actually going in and changing facets of our personality or our belief structure, because that might take a little bit longer? Well, changing your physical state, like I said, is one awesome way. So let's do some practices to change our physical state. And we did one already, which was the bouncing, right? We bounced up and down on our heels, which helps to stir the chi and the circulation and the lymphatic drainage. There's the other way to bounce, which I've showed you, where you just have your feet flat on the ground, your arms limp, your head limp, and you just bounce from the knees. And this is a great way to shake out any tension, any stressors, any feelings that are getting stuck inside of you. So let's bounce for a little bit, okay? Feet slightly wider than shoulder width distance apart, knees gently bent, arms limp, head either limp or balanced over your spine, and just from the knees, we bounce. And take some nice deep breaths all the way in and all the way out as you go. Awesome. When you're at home, you can do this with some music on. I've said that before. Throw on your favorite track, maybe something tribal, maybe something with a good drum beat, and just bounce for 7 to 10 minutes. You're going to feel like you had a massage afterwards. Awesome. So this is having the effect of balancing our autonomic nervous system, which is the part of our nervous system that we don't consciously control. That system is divided into two branches, the sympathetic or the stress response and the parasympathetic or the relaxation response. And when those systems are in balance, you are less reactive. When those systems are in balance, your emotions are going to be more regulated. And I don't mean suppressed, I mean regulated, right? You're less likely to get angry when there's no reason to get angry. You're less likely to feel fear when there's no reason to feel fear. So anything that you can do to achieve autonomic balance is super helpful for regulating emotion. Exercise is another great way to regulate your emotion. We just did the bouncing. Now I'm going to show you probably my favorite super efficient, fast way to squeeze out negative emotions, especially those that are creating tension in your body, and that's that total body tense and release that we've done before. So again, you'll stand with your feet slightly wider than shoulder width distance apart, and what I'm going to do is inhale as I reach my arms up over my head, and then I'm going to bring my feet together, and as I exhale, I'm going to squeeze every muscle in my body. Face, shoulder, chest, belly, back, hips, butt, legs, toes, everything. So let's do that together. Ready? Inhale and exhale, squeeze. Good. Let's do that again. Inhale, exhale, squeeze. Awesome. All right, we're going to do it again 2 more times, but this time we're going to go out to the sides. And as you get to the side, you can flex and extend your wrists up and down, okay? So inhale, step your feet together, exhale and squeeze. Be sure to breathe out when you're tensing. If you don't breathe out while you're tensing, your blood pressure is going to shoot up. It's going to give you a headache, okay? So inhale, exhale, squeeze. Awesome. All right. So, you can feel it, right? There's a looseness where there used to be a tension. There's a relaxation where there used to be tension. We've wrung out a lot of the stress, a lot of the negative or stuck or blocked energy. But if you believe in energy, which everybody knows that I do, it can still be clinging to your surface. So I always follow this squeezing exercise by just a brushing exercise. So any little energy, any vibrations that are still sort of trying to cling to my surface, I just brush them off with my hands. And my intention, right? Get my head and face too, and my neck, and then I just flick them off my fingers like that. Awesome. So I think most of you can feel a significant difference from before we started to move our bodies, right? You're much more relaxed. You're much more at peace. You're much more balanced. Perhaps you're much more content. All of these things come when we are in balance, autonomically speaking. So I'm going to show you one more exercise for today, which is something called tapping. We have done a total body tap where we use our palms of our hands to really stimulate the physical body. Today I'm going to show you more fine-tuned tapping with the tips of our fingers. We're going to be tapping on different acupuncture points throughout the body, and the end result of this is, again, to create relaxation and restore autonomic balance. So I tap with 3 fingers. That way I don't miss the point because the points are specific. You can tap with 1 finger if you've got laser accuracy. I tap from the wrist, not from the arm, not from the finger. Tap from the wrist so you can get decent pressure without getting tired, okay? The first point that we're going to tap on is at the very top of the head. This is called the Bai Hui point. It's in line with the top of the ear, okay? And we're just going to tap. And for those of you that are fans of tapping, fans of something called EFT or emotional freedom technique, which pairs tapping with a script to help get specific anxieties, fears, worries, concerns out of you, they tap on the same points every single time. We're going to do something a little bit different today. But they do start with this point. And then the second point is this one at the inner corners of the eyebrows. So let's tap there. But instead of just tapping on the point, take all 3 of your fingers and tap in a line from the inner corners of your eyebrows up the forehead. And from there, come out, tapping along the forehead with your 3 fingers, going from the inner corners of the eyebrows to the sides of the eyes. Good. And then go to the inner corners of your cheeks, starting at the edge of the nose on either side. And tap back and an upward arc to the same point at the sides of your eyes. You can also go from the eyes down, especially if you have sinus issues. This helps to milk the sinus drainage towards the sinus outlet. We've been having some allergies up here, so that's helpful for me. And then, starting at the highest point of your cheeks here, let's just tap in a line down the cheeks. Getting the back edge of your jaw, that masseter muscle there. I'm not going to go quite that far back because I don't want to be banging on the microphone in my earbuds. But there's a lot of acupuncture points around this area in front of the ear and then down the jaw. So you want to stimulate them. And then let's tap along the lower ridge of the jaw. Good. And then let's get that point in the midline in between the base of the lip and the chin. And let's circle back and go across the area in between the upper lip and the nose. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to turn to the side so you can see this a little bit better. So now let's start here, kind of at the edge of the eye, but more back towards the ear. And we're going to tap. And then we're going to come up around the ear and back down to that bone, that little bump of bone that hangs down behind your ear called the mastoid process. So around the ear to that. And then you're going to kind of go in a diagonal and come back up the head. And then you're going to go back down. Let's do that again, okay? So starting here, going around the ear to here, back up to here, and then down into your neck there, and you can get down into your shoulders too. That follows the path of the gallbladder channel as it goes through your head. The gallbladder channel is one that frequently gets blocked, frequently is a source of pain in our society where we're not moving a lot, where we tend to deal with a lot of stress and frustration. So it's a great one to stimulate. You can also get your bladder channel, which starts with the inner corners of the eyebrows and goes on either side of the midline straight down. And those two channels together, when there's somebody that has a lot of headaches, usually there's points on those channels involved. So if you're somebody that suffers from headaches, be they tension headaches or migraines, those are good channels to get. So that's another version of tapping. All tapping is stimulating acupressure, acupuncture points with your fingers. There's different ways that it's used. There's different styles. I think they're all beautiful. If you feel particularly drawn to tapping, check out EFT. If you Google it, you'll see a lot of free resources on how to do it. Okay, let's close out our session by doing just one slow flowing Qigong move. So let's come into Wu Ji with our feet together and our arms either neutral or palms turned out to face the universe. Shift all your weight into one leg, step out slightly wider than shoulder width distance apart. Feet turned out slightly, knees slightly bent over your feet. And we're just gonna do a simple Tai Chi arms pose. So to do this, you're going to sink down and then inhale as you bring your arms up in front of you with the wrists relaxed, and then back in towards you and exhale, sinking down. Good. Inhale up, exhale down. And so it's a circle, right? So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Let's do this a few more times. This is just a great move to center you, to tap into Qi, which is life force energy, to balance the autonomic nervous system. And Qigong works best when you coordinate the movements with the breath and the intention, right? So I'm always breathing out as I'm sinking. I'm always breathing in as I'm rising. Wrists stay nice and relaxed so that your hands can float down and up. And set your intention. What do you want to get out of this practice? Greater sense of calm, greater sense of balance, greater sense of flow, greater sensitivity to the energy around you and within you. You want to feel more grounded, more rooted to earth Qi. You want to feel uplifted, attached to yang, heavenly Qi, balanced between the two. Whatever your intention, set it at the outright, and then coordinate the breath with the movement. Wonderful. 2 more times. Inhale up, down. 1 more time. And come to rest with the hands in front of your lower dantian, or lower energy center, which is in this area in between the belly button and the bottom of you. And let your hands rest a few inches off of your body in front. And just allow yourself to feel any sensation in the palms of your hands or in the lower belly. And if you don't feel anything, that's okay. Just keep practicing. Learning how to sense chi is something that everybody can do, absolutely everybody. And I don't mean sense in a, oh, I think I sort of feel something. I mean, no, I know I'm feeling something because I feel it. And to me, it feels sort of like an electromagnetic kind of wah, 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 wah kind of pulsing. Like an attractive force. It'll either push or it'll pull, kind of. Sometimes people feel it as a warmth, sometimes as a tingly sensation. The more you learn how to feel your chi, the more you can actively work with it. But even if you can't, this is one thing I love about Qigong, even before you learn how to sense it, to feel it with your hands, you can just go through the motions and you will still get so many benefits. I would say pretty much all of the benefits of doing Qigong, even if you don't get them to as great a degree as somebody who's really tapped in. But the only way to get really tapped in is to practice. And these exercises are simple and they're enjoyable, so I invite you to practice them throughout the week in between our sessions. Okay, to close out, we're going to come back into Wuji. So I'm going to shift all of my weight into one leg. I'm going to inhale, arms coming up as my feet come together, and I'm going to exhale down the midline. When I get to the level of my lower ribs, my arms are going to come out, and my hands are going to go down to my sides. So we're inhaling up again. We do this 3 times each time we do it. And exhale down. And your hands separate here because you've gathered up chi and brought it down the midline into your lower dantian. You don't want to push it all the way through your lower dantian and down into the genitals. It's just not as useful there. So we bring it down, and then we separate. And then back into Wuji. Okay, everyone, that's our session for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got at least one thing out of it that was really useful. Again, I encourage you all week long to try to remember to practice. When you feel a strong emotion, instead of turning outwards to try to explain it, turn inwards. What is this emotion telling me about what's going on inside? What do I need to help balance this emotion? And then try to create at least one action item and then execute on it to see if you can self-regulate and balance yourself. You're going to learn a lot about yourself if you can remember to do this. If you found this video helpful, please like it, share it, leave me a comment. Let me know anything that you're struggling with, any challenges that you're facing. My goal is always to be of service, and I choose the topics for these weekly sessions based on what we're all going through, so I like to know from you. Okay, everybody, have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful week. Have a wonderful weekend even before then. I will see you next Saturday morning, 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central. Until then, be well. Bye.